Hiya, and welcome back to Wayfinder, the game that teaches us that the god of this world, that the god of the world of Wayfinder is fruity. He is gay. Pippin Nugget. Anyways, let's just hop right in. I finally learned what PP Nugget means. It means tiny penis. So, what about you? Hmm? Oh wait, hang on. So what about you? Any lofty ambitions of your own? Geralf's laugh is hearty. The look he gives me is almost sweet enough to make my teeth tingle. Nothing too lofty, I hope. I would just like to see many parts of my realm and be able to make all kinds of friends. I want to be able to help people all over Jotunheim. Also, like, roaches are fucking terrifying. They're fucking terrifying. Like you could be, like, doing your own thing in a kitchen and, like, see one, like, you could be doing your own thing in, like a kitchen that's... It's like you could be doing your own thing, and then you see a roach crawl around, and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? And upon closer inspection, turns out it's a spider, and you're like, oh shit, that's a spider. Believe it or not, before I loved spiders, I was actually scared of them. Okay. Honeybees, okay. Honeybees, bumblebees. They're fine. They're fine. They're just over here doing their own thing. But as soon as we start going down the realm of anger, then it's just like, oh shit. Like you see a wasp and you're like, oh fuck, that's a wasp. And the wasp is over here like, hiya. And the wasp is over here like, hey baby, can I get some of that food? And you're like, oh shit, get the fuck away from me. So you try to like push it away, and then it stings you in your left side. It stings you in your arm, and you're just like, ah shit, what the hell is wrong with you? You just stung me in your arm, in my arm. And like, now you have to deal with the fact that your arm has been stung. They stung you with their left ass cheek. Oh shit. I want to be able to help people all over Jotunheim. Oh, right. You mentioned New Frontiers earlier. What's that about? Oh, well, you see, our realm isn't wholly discovered yet. There were a great many climates and dangers that hinder our progress. Oh, are you talking about centipedes and millipedes? They're very pretty. From what I've read about the humans of your realm, I'd liken our understanding of our world to the 10th, maybe 11th century here. Oh, so like when the Vikings were exploring and pillaging and voyaging. Geralt looks at me quizzically, and I wave it off. I realize I forgot to take the money for the check out of my wallet and dig through it. We'll talk about that another time. So, it seems like there's some great adventure to be had in your realm. Sounds incredible! Geralt nods enthusiastically and then brushes his elbow with his paw hand as if to soothe himself. Oh, why would you piss off a bumblebee? Also, I think the worst thing that I did in middle school was hit someone on the inner thigh with a discus. Geralt nods enthusiastically and then brushes his elbow with his paw hand as if to soothe himself. Yeah, it really does! All of the stories I've heard, I have to listen to them to learn about the world. Have me pretty excited to get out and see it for myself. So, why do you want to be the Great Chief anyway? You got hit by a spider and your arm got You got bit by a spider. Discus the fish or the frisbee thing? The frisbee thing, like, okay, Hiya. I was trying to be healthy. My 8th grade year, I joined track and field. It is the only thing in recent memory, even kind of sporty related, like a sport that I actually did, other than marching band. My dumbass is trying a way to throw a discus, and instead of it going forward, it went to the side, and it hit some kid in his inner thigh. He, like, falls to the ground, is like, oh shit, like, oh my god, I'm so sorry! So why would you want to be the great chief anyway? Don't you really just want to explore? Oh, Finn, do not get me wrong. At first, the elders called my name and I wanted to be free, so I agreed to participate. However, I really thought it through the first night and again after I met you. I seriously want to see my world, but I am not naive enough to think the world is all good. All I have seen from my window is a boundless, beautiful ocean. Meanwhile, the bad goings-on in the villages nearby go unseen by any of my kin. I am ready to take the bad with the good. I need to see, to understand, the people I may one day lead. Their problems, their joys, their hopes, and even their losses. The knowledge that I'd be making a difference in seeing my world at once, well, it's enough to make me feel like I could catch the moon! Hiya. I smile as I leave money and a tip inside the little book with the check. That's a very noble outlook, Geralt. You've given this a lot of thought, it seems. Geralt's superhero voice. I cannot believe that I gave him a voice. I cannot believe I gave him a superhero voice. He sounds like a twink All Might. He sounds like a twink All Might. Given this a lot of thought, it seems. By the way, Geralt is looking at me, no doubt questioning what I'm about to say. The server is coming over to the table, and I hand him the little book as I continue my thought in mind speak with Geralt. I have been having dreams lately about some wolves. One of them was actually chasing the moon. Chasing the moon? He reflects on this and leans in, locking eyes with me once more. Tell me more, Finn. I don't remember much about them, but one has been speaking to me in these dreams and calls himself Skull. I think I heard Bjorn saying something about a skull yesterday. Okay, I've played Stardew Valley. It's not for me. Stardew Valley is not for me. I've bought it, and I've played it, and I should actually get back into it. I should, like, try to get into Stardew Valley. It has a furry mod. It has a furry mod. Should I, like, do, like, a side series? Like, aside from Dumb Furry? Like, the Dumb Furry series that's just Stardew Valley? Should I do that? Should I just, like, record gameplay of Stardew Valley and then post it on YouTube and not on Twitch? Should I do that? Can we do Stardew Valley tomorrow? Here's the thing with Stardew Valley. It wouldn't be a Twitch thing. It would just be a thing where I record it on my computer and then, like, post it on YouTube. Calls out to me in my mind. Finn, we need to find somewhere to talk with the others. This doesn't seem like something to ignore. It could be important. I get up and apologize to the server, and then follow after Geralt, desperately trying to keep up with his pace as he pushes the diner doors open and walks through them. I look at the jukebox and pinball machine longingly, and follow him outside into the nighttime autumn air. The four of us stand on an empty path near the riverbank as I look off the side over the railing. Across the wide river I can see a great many buildings, their lights adorning the dark night like stars. Finn, I would like to hear about your dream again. It is prudent that we three all have all the details exactly right. Just going to hold down Control and just skip all this, because we've already read it. Geralf, I can't believe you're going to be a pee-pee nugget to Bjorn. Geralf, you're being a fucking prick. I walk past him after Bjorn, shoulder checking him as I pass. The look he gives me tells me he doesn't realize what he's done wrong, and when he grabs my wrist as I pass, I turn toward him to elaborate. What the hell did I do? I scoff. Seriously? Isn't that what you called Tucker and his goons for ganging up on someone who didn't deserve it? And besides that, do you really know how all hot T-Wolves are? Geralf, you fucking cock gobbler. No. Geralf? My mom can beat up your mom. God damn. Geralf is a diddle muncher. Hang on. I need to come up with. I need to find more kindergarten insults because I swear to God, kindergartners have the best insults. Geralf, you're more disappointing than an unsalted pretzel. You look like you came from a donation pile. I wish you were a speed bump. If Mr. Rogers was your neighbor, he'd move. You smell like hot dog water. Geralf, you need to go home and think about everything that you are. And then change it. It is impossible to underestimate you. Oh God. You will have a sparsely attended funeral. You're like a lighthouse in the middle of a desert. Bright, but not a lot of use. You're a gray sprinkle on a rainbow cupcake. I'm just reading these off of BuzzFeed. I'm just reading these off of BuzzFeed. Oh my God. You know what, Geralf? You're not my friend anymore. Oh my God. You can't even make snow like Elsa.
Theta, you know what? Your mom is bright but useless at the same damn time.
Oh my God. Geralf, you're fired. Geralf, I don't want to marry you anymore. You're not even pretty. Okay. 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 Back to the story. Geralt clicks his tongue and gives me a glare. Please, this is different. What do you want from me? Call it confirmation bias, but in my experience, a haughty wolf will never put others before themselves. Well, in my experience, that haughty wolf has put himself in harm's way before putting my safety before his own. Geralt looks like he's about to say something, but stops himself. Geralt, you're putting an unhealthy amount of focus on what Bjorn is. If you give people a chance to show you who they are before judging them based on preconceived notions, working together becomes much easier. That's our goal here, by the way, to cooperate. We need to be this with one another, not against one another. PP Nugget. His eyes tell me he's absorbed what I've said. Now I just need to give him a little push. I move closer to him and reach up and scratch his cheek. Finn, I put a finger to his lips. No. You don't need to say that to me. Save it for Bjorn. Please, just try to see past what you're feeling. Again, if we can understand one another and be amicable, we can work together much easier. I lose Geralt's gaze as his eyes find somewhere off to my side, with him now contemplating my words. He exhales and nods, our eyes meeting once more. I smile. As I let go of the silvery wolf giant's muzzle and walk past him after Bjorn, his tail grazes my hand as if to ask me to put it back, but I ignore it. Turning to look at Arkin, I motion for him to follow with the point of my thumb. We walk after Bjorn together. Arkin and I find Bjorn almost a full block away, leaning forward on the rail overlooking the river. He's resting his chin in his paw hands. I move into his field of vision slowly but clear my throat to not startle him. Bjorn, buddy, you okay? He sighs and looks toward me, his expression a bit sad. Yes! I'll be fine. Just a little stung, and honestly the alcohol I had earlier didn't do as much to ease my nerves as I'd like. I place a hand on his shoulder to comfort him. Must be a heavy one, huh? I'd love to drink with you sometime. Been hankering for some mead. Well, I'm not much for mead. I prefer spirits myself, but I'd love to drink with you sometime, Arkin. You should come with us, Finn. I smile. Bjorn's spirits seem to be lifted, but I daren't say as much lest I start an all-out pun war. But well, the night is still young. We can just go tonight. Well, I actually know a place. It's not too late for me to call in. I can get us a private room. We hear footsteps approaching, and I turn to see Geralt meandering toward us slowly. Would you perhaps have room for one more on your outing? I give him a pensive look. Depends on him. I motion toward Bjorn with my head. Geralt nods and passes me. Which scent? Don't feel bad, Amethyst. I'm also 20. Don't feel bad. I think we did. Let me check what all we did. So we did floral. We did cozy. We didn't do fresh, though. I start to rinse through my hair and run my hands through it. Looking over to the shower caddy, I reach for a bottle of sea kale shampoo and begin to pour a healthy dollop into my hand. Closing the bottle, I set to work applying it to my hair and working it into a lather. Crispy. After about a minute of exfoliating and scrubbing, I start to rinse it out. I work on my hair for another few minutes, taking care to also treat it with a coconut conditioner product. I decide to use a bar of seafoam soap to wash my body with, and after a few minutes scrubbing and doing another round, I rinse off completely. I set the water to be a bit cool, and then, after finishing, I grab my towel off to the next to the shower and step out to dry off. Geralf. I find my mind making its way toward him again. It's strange that someone can make me feel such a strong sense of wonder just by being nearby. I wonder to myself whether Geralf is home and if he'd be up for dealing with me while I'm such a wreck. I start to use magic to call to him, but then decide against it. He doesn't deserve to have his night ruined on my behalf. As I'm wandering through the streets, I start to feel a familiar, dark, and unsettling feeling coming from somewhere behind me further back. As I enter a crowd of people walking from bar to bar, I feel it fading in, so I ignore it. Whatever it is, I don't have time to deal with it. As a crowd of people make their way to the corner of the block, I turn it and make my way down a well-lit street. Twin homes line the side of the street opposite me, and the side I'm walking down has a row of buildings with storefronts. The dark feeling has completely vanished, and I scan the twin homes as I forget all about it. Geralf lives in one of these. I can feel it. I leave the decision to my feet as I feel myself crossing the street. I don't know exactly how much I know which house is Geralf's. In my mind, I reason that I must have heard the wolf giant say his address. I know deep down, however, that this is just another of my finder abilities and decide not to focus too much on the matter. It's just going to add to my stress. I come up to a house, and though I feel an intense urge to knock, I stop. I don't know why, but I feel guilty now. As though I'm the one intruding on their lives. Maybe I should just go home. Why am I like this? Why can't I just do this? I'm already trying to find a way out, but didn't I tell myself I needed to do this on the way over here? Just as I'm pondering the intricacies of my thought, I notice my hand reaching up to press the doorbell. Damn it, Finn! I guess this is it! The silver-furred wolf giant opens the door, and before I can say anything, I feel my tears welling up with them. He looks at me for a moment before processing what's happening. Geralf, Before I can finish, he's holding me tight, his head cradled between my head cradled between his chest and chin, and his arms around my back and waist. He holds me, a sobbing mess, for a few minutes, and then guides me into his door. I trail behind Geralf as we walk to his chaise lounge, and he sits down, leaning back against it. His legs spread apart as he pulls my hand, with me attached, thankfully, toward him. He sits me in front of him, facing away from him, and puts his arms around me, holding me close. I'm not crying like a complete mess, but I'm still wiping away a few tears. Geralf is now massaging my shoulders as I melt in his grasp. He speaks up first. Did something bad happen, Finn? I shake my head and turn it in his direction with a chuckle. Hiya. I can't see him from this angle, but I hope my show of faking happiness will convince him. Today's a lot already, so when I saw you I just felt so relieved. And overwhelmed. I just burst. It doesn't work. Finn, I know there's more to it than that, but I won't pry if you aren't comfortable. I turn around all the way in my seat to face him, looking into his eyes and holding his hands. Geralf, I've made up my mind. I want to go with you to your realm. His eyes light up. You're settled then? I nod. After today, I'm going to try to be more open to new experiences. I know I'll try to find excuses not to. It's just the way I am now. Still, I'm resolved to do this. He smiles, looking back into my eyes and pats my head. What helped you to make up your mind? I take a deep breath and exhale slowly. My father passed away almost a decade ago. Today was his birthday. Geralf's face takes on a shocked expression and his hand moves over to my cheek, wiping away a tear. I'm sorry, Finn. My condolences. He pulls me in for a hug, and I don't resist. Once more I melt into his arms, leaning my head against his shoulder. I take another deep breath. Sea salt and a gentle, pleasant musk grace my nostrils. I feel my heartbeat begin to steady. About 8 years ago, my father and I were driving up the mountains for a weekend camping trip. I had my learner's permit, so I insisted that he let me practice driving for at least a few hours. I dropped my water bottle by my feet after I tried to put it in our cup holders under the radio, and it fell off. I told my dad I was going to pull over to grab the bottle, but he told me he'd get it. My dad unclasped his seatbelt to reach over. I sniffle. He picked it back up and put it in the cup holder between us where it couldn't fall through the bottom. We returned to just driving in silence. Geralf's breathing slows suddenly, as if anticipating some horrible thing. And he's just about right to, given the context. It felt like it was a horrible nightmare when it happened. So, about 10 minutes passed and we were driving around a mountain on a road right by the ravine. Some debris fell down in front of us, and well, I swerved off the road. We crashed into a tree. I was mostly unhurt, but my dad, he never put his seatbelt back on, and Geralf's head nuzzles against my neck and shoulder, and although it catches me off guard, I relax and we sit in silence for a moment. It's taken almost a decade for me to try to move forward with my life. I'm still not sure I can let myself be happy, even if that's what my father would want. I'm starting to try now, though. As late as that may be. Geralf sighs. Finn, I understand you might blame yourself. But you know your father would want you to be happy. Do you think you could have done anything differently? That it would have changed anything? If you had slammed the brakes, your father could have been thrown into the windshield. If you had not swerved, you would have crashed into the debris and not the ravine. I glare at him with a chuckle. Is that your attempt at cheering me up? I know he's saying more than just to get over it, but I can't help but to laugh at the situation. Geralf smirks back and rustles my hair. While it's not a comfort to know that such things are outside of our control, it at least means we should not punish ourselves for them. You are a great person, Finn. You came to help us wolf giants and even volunteered to help Skull with nothing but his cryptic request to guide your decision. You deserve to be happy. His words strike a chord within me, and I find myself smiling and blushing a bit. I hug Geralf tight. Hey, Geralf? Yes, Finn? How do you know what a windshield is? He laughs and I do too. He doesn't answer, but that doesn't really matter. His laugh makes me feel better. Geralf, thank you. I'm done hiding in the past now. I want to do something to help people. So, to that end, can we go to your realm now? Geralf beams at me with delight, and he nods excitedly. It is an honor to be trusted in such a way, Finder! I grimace at hearing my official title, but smirk afterward because I know he's just being silly to make me smile. He holds out his hand and I take it, then he guides me to his dimly lit bedroom. We lie in Geralf's bed. The fabric is nice and cool beneath me, a nice contrast to the warmth I feel coming from his body, just a foot away from mine. We lock eyes for what feels like forever. I see his shoulder move and then feel his hand brushing my cheek. Are you alright now? Despite your grief, I sense your heartbeat seems to have steadied. I nod and smile at him. Yes, thank you, Geralf. He hums once in response, and I feel a tingle behind my ear when he does so. Geralf, is it okay if I move closer? I'm cut off as he wraps an arm behind me and pulls me close. Finn, if you wanted to spoon, you could have said so! I blush as it smells incredible musk, and I can't help but chuckle. Can you stack spoons this way? I would not mind finding out. Geralf pulls me in closer, especially with an incredible smelling spoon such as yourself. Someone must have labored long and hard to ensure its quality. I feel myself blushing and almost snort with laughter. Was that flirting, my fellow spoon? It may have been. I see. It must have been an invitation to smell you in kind. Now it's his turn to blush, and he chuckles excitedly as I move in closer to his neck scruff and inhale deep through his nose. Through my nose. Oh, and what does my fellow spoon think of my scent? I pretend to think on the subject, overreacting all to hell. Actually, he leans in closer with anticipation. You smell absolutely divine, Geralf. Thanks, Finn. His smile is wider than mine now. Not that it would take much for that to be true with him having a muzzle. The two of us lie there, holding one another until we doze off together. Why did I give him an All Might voice? Why did I give Geralf an All Might voice? End of Act 1. Why? Chapter 7. Waking. Geralf is with me, too. I close my eyes and push my head against Geralf's chest more. I feel like half this stuff is just like holding on the control button. I lift my head and turn away from Geralt, looking toward where I heard the voice. I feel Geralt's arm slip away from me as I'm pulled away smoothly. Still, I don't want to lose Geralt, for fear of becoming lost myself. You mean Geralt? If he's All Might, then who is Deku? Shit. Okay. So, Geralt is All Might. Bjorn is Deku, if anything. And I don't actually watch My Hero Academia. You mean Geralt? I already know that. I'm going to his world to do that very thing. I'm sent drifting toward Geralt. I'm lying on my back with my head to the side. My eyes are closed, and my head is resting on something firm, but with some give to it.
It's gin time.
The smell of salty sea air and a gentle warm breeze caresses my skin.
Hubba hubba bo o oba.
I'm gay. I open my eyes and see Geralt lying on his back as well, his head leaning in my direction. I smile for a second, and then, after realizing the something firm in my head is lying on Geralt's arm, I blush. Geralt breasts Geraltfully on the Geraltless fin. Ha 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 ha! Geralt breasts Geraltfully on the Geraltless fin. I look his body up and down slowly, his toned chest giving the gentle light purpose. It's amazing. I mean, he wasn't exactly leaving much to the imagination before. His tits breasted boobily. Still, I feel my heart fluttering and something in my loins stirs. I'll have to get back to you on that, whether or not he's still a pee-pee nugget. I feel my heart fluttering and something in my loins stirs. I should probably stifle that. I don't think he's a pee-pee nugget anymore. That said, he was still being one with Bjorn, but now I don't know. Okay, Mommy Mark, I'll stop. After a moment, my gaze moves back up Geralt's body to meet his now opened eyes. Hello there, Geralt. Good morning, Finn. Enjoying the view? His voice is teasing and he chuckles as all the heat in my body reaches my face. We're here in your world now, right? Smooth. We are. Do you want to sleep some more, Finn? You still look tired. I will likely be rising soon to prepare a few things for the day, but you need not bother yourself so. More sleep sounds nice. After waking up in the middle of the journey here, I suppose I feel more drained than I should. I nod. Very well, rest up then. Welcome back to Wayfinder, the game that teaches us. Have you ever had a dream that you You'll do, you want him to do you so much you could do anything. Well, very well. Rest up then, handsome. My blush returns softly. Yes, thank you. Geralt closes his eyes and relaxes again. I quickly look over his body again, and then close my eyes too. I drift off to sleep once more. When I wake up again, Geralt is gone. I look around the room. His side of the bed is clean and neat. I stretch my arms and rise out of bed, stretching my legs next. I decide to make the side of the bed I slept on to match his. It looks horrible. I don't know how he got his side so pristine. I try for another minute or so and then hear a chuckle behind me. You do not need to do that, Finn. I can do it for you. Oh, sorry. I wanted to be helpful. That is appreciated, but not necessary. You are my guest, after all. He smirks and holds out his hands, and I look toward them to see the change of clothes he has prepared for me. Here you are, Finn. I made you a pair of shoes with creation magic after you fell asleep. I hope that is all right. Creation magic? Is there anything you wolf giants can't do? Geralt smiles coyly. I can think of a few wolf giants who seem unable to do anything useful, actually. Alright, we're done respectfully staring in a disrespectful manner. We're done doing that. I start to ponder over his meaning, but he continues. Worry not, I shall give a demonstration in due time. For now, the bath is drawn at the end of the hall, all ready for you. I am taking one afterward as well. I hope you do not mind. I chuckle. Of course not. I don't expect you to wait on me without returning the favor. Geralt smiles. Well then, have at it. I am going to get myself ready to take mine. I blush as I look down the hallway. A small amount of steam is coming out from the room at the end, which I assume is the bathroom I'm using. Heading down the dimly lit hallway, I notice another partially open door at the opposite end of the hall from where I left. Light streams through and I feel a gentle breeze. Maybe it leads to a deck or something? Instead of peeking, I just decide to head into the bathroom, closing the door behind me. I'm undressed and dip my toes into the water. It's leaning a bit on the hotter side, but not too hot. I gently lower my foot in, then ease myself down onto the ledge of the bathtub. With one foot in, I put the other in not long after. I notice there are a few bubbles in the bath already, and think maybe Geralt added the soap to the water for me. He did say the bath was drawn for me already, after all. I sink into the water gently and relax for a minute. Looking around, I notice a few kinds of soaps and shampoos on various caddies. Geralt must like a lot of different scents. I also noticed a few plants along the way into the bathroom, although none were flowering. Maybe he and Bjorn have a lot more in common than anyone thought! I start washing myself off. It isn't too bad, considering my body has been transported through probably time and definitely space. I take note of any assets I might have displaced. Nope, everything's accounted for. The Geralt Express gets a 5 out of 5 score, I suppose. Heh. Riding the Geralt Express. I blush to myself. I can't get the image of a shirtless body out of my head. Definitely a sight I want to see again. That gets a 10 out of 5. Well, that does not make much sense logistically. I splash in the water out of fear and look over to see Geralt smirking in the doorway. Geralt, what are you doing here? I wanted to check on you. Look away! I panic and cover my torso, then feel silly and cover my groin area with nearby bubbles instead. Oh, I apologize. Are you shy about such things? He averts his gaze with a bit of a blush on his own cheeks. Am I shy about being walked in while naked? Kinda! He seems to realize something and his face becomes much more nervous. Oh, this isn't something common for humans, is it? I typically have the castle servants checking in on me when I bathe to see if I require anything. He bites his lip. Hiya. And yes, furries unite. That's not a humans don't do this thing. That's a born into royal wealth thing. I don't have servants. We rarely even use baths where I'm from anyway. Geralf's eyes are still averted, but his face scrunches up. Humans don't bathe, but you smelled so clean. Am I dealing with Arkin here? Well, he is a prince, I suppose. No, we generally shower instead. I haven't bathed since I was like 9. Geralt mouths an O, and I pull some more bubbles over toward my waist to cover myself. I see. Well, if you would like, I could go. I can see privacy is something you would rather be afforded. Wait. As he's about to close the door, he stops. You have the servants check on you? Do they just make sure you have, like, towels or something? Geralt chuckles at this and shakes his head. There is more to it than that. Sometimes they use their hand to feel the temperature of the water to add more and keep the water at the perfect heat. Other times they help me. Well, I raise an eyebrow at him. They do what, Geralt? Help me reach places I cannot. Like my back. Oh, I see. A pampered prince, no less. He's still pretty well taken care of, even taken care of, even for being as isolated as he is from the rest of his family. I can't exactly blame him if he doesn't know any other way of living. So they help you bathe. Do you do most of it yourself? You drew the bath, right? Geralt nods and smiles. Well, yeah, I am not entirely helpless. I made the bed too, and generally I clean the place myself. It is just... He pauses, as if considering whether he should continue. He does. Well, a lot of us wolf giants have more fur on our backsides than our front. Backside? Like, your butt? Prince Fluff Butt. Fuzzy cheeks? Gareth blushes and chuckles. No, well, yes, but also I meant the entire back of our bodies. Oh, I left my mind's direction. I see. I suppose without a back scrubber or something, it could be hard to clean the fur thoroughly. Geralt nods. Do you find your fur gets matted less often with a servant helping you? Oh, I was not expecting you to be familiar with problems like that. Well, I have a house cat, so I'm not that unfamiliar with fur care. Geralt smiles. Maybe I should call upon your expertise if I need help sometime. His tone is flirtatious, and I blush. Would he want me to, like... Oh my god, thank you for the follow! Oh my god, thank you. Thank you for the follows. I should have noticed... Dire MG. I should have noticed that. Sorry, I should have noticed it sooner. But, yeah, I just noticed. Oh my god, thank you. What do you want me to, like, help groom his fur? Why does the idea entice me so much? Well... Now, there's an offer I'd be hard-pressed to refuse. Geralt smirks again, and I can see him blushing a bit. Hang on, I'm checking something real quick. I think we're just going to finish Wayfinder tonight. Like, we'll go over 1 hour and we'll finish it tonight. Geralt smirks again, and I can see him blushing a bit. So, could I finish up here? The water's going to cool down if I don't wash soon. Geralt laughs anxiously and nods. Yes, my apologies, Finn. He nervously looks to my eyes apologetically and closes the door, leaving me alone once more. I smile. Then sink down further into the water again, the surface now up to my lips, and I pull my legs into my chest. I whisper to myself, because I need to say it and I dare not be heard. Geralt, I think I'm starting to fall for you. Secrets! After some time, I'm finished washing and I'm waiting for Geralt to finish his own bath. I look around the room and try to take in little things about it, hoping to glean something about my woven world-hopping companion. He has a few little trinkets on several tables, but mostly the room seems like it's just used for sleeping and nothing else. I suppose that's not such a novel idea, being as though my room is really the only place in my apartment I can do anything. It's just a kitchen, bathroom, and small dining area. My room is half the size of Geralt's, though, so this has been unorthodox to me. I suppose he does have an entire wing of the castle to himself, though. He probably makes good use of all the other rooms. Geralt's taking quite a bit of time. I could go check up on him. Just as I speak the thought aloud, I hear footsteps coming from the direction of the bathroom. Geralt walks into the room, fully dressed and drying the fur on his muzzle with a small towel. I give him a smile. "Well, Finn, ready for the grand tour?" "Yes, lead the way." Geralt smiles back at me and we head back down the hallway together. Chapter 8, Understanding. Geralt and I are walking through the immediate area outside his ward, on a trail winding around toward the middle of the castle grounds. There are individual estates to the left and a wall to the right with a series of buildings built into it. He's looking around as though this part of the grounds is as new to him as it is to me. I can't help but turn to look at him as he studies every sight with such splendor. Geralt's eyes light up every few seconds as we see trees, grass, a path, shrubs, and even benches. We make our way through the almost village-esque area and come out to a small spot just by the wall of the castle with a staircase leading up. He points to the space opposite the wall. "Look! A fountain!" Sure enough, there's a decently sized fountain surrounded by hedges. It's the kind of spot that's perfect for bird watching. We walk over to the fountain and I rest on the edge next to him for a moment as Geralt feels the water and looks the fountain over. "It's colder than the water in the bath!" I think it's probably dirtier too, if the birds use the water. I wouldn't want to get any of that on me. Geralt's eyes widen and he shakes his hand off over the fountain. I laugh. "I'm just giving you shit, silly." Oh, yes. You were just teasing, I see." After continuing on, we move up the stairs onto the castle wall itself. Geralt and I are just looking around in peace together. It's nice. I'm happy the day's been so uneventful so far. Although I'm not naive enough to think things will stay that way for long. I came here for a reason after all. I look over to my companion and catch him looking at me. If only briefly. I lean in to try to catch the corner of his vision as he turns to face ahead, and when he turns back to me awkwardly, I smile and look back into his eyes. "You doing okay there, Geralt?" He freezes up a bit and scratches his cheek. Cute. "It is nothing, really. Well, the thing is that, well..." Geralt turns away again. I tilt my head and lean in, crossing my arms. I bump his bicep with my shoulder and get him to look back at me. "What is it?" "I won't, judge you. Or laugh if you're worried, I promise." He stops and looks at me again, this time looking into my eyes and placing a hand on my still crossed elbow. It takes so much not to blush, his hand is so warm. "I just thank you for coming with me. Thank you, Finn. It means a lot to me, and I know we have not known one another for very long, but..." His voice trails off and I reach to comfort him. My hand grazes his arm and he looks back to me, smiling. "You've been a good friend, Finn." "Oh, Geralt, it's the least I could do. After all, you've been a better one." Walking along the top, the two of us come to a deck area with a few outdoor seats arranged around a table. The whole deck overlooks a forest that separates the castle from the village. We must be on the other side of Geralt's wing now, as I can't see the cliffside or hear the ocean. Their castle is built to have a part of it overlook the sea, and Geralt's living area is built into that corner. This deck must be closer to the front of the castle. Geralt stands on one side of the table looking over the forest view before us. I sit on the other side of the table and just let him be. All of this was just waiting beyond the walls of my room! It is amazing! You sure seem excited, although it isn't hard to guess why. You really were trapped in that wing of the castle your whole life, huh? Yes, I was. That door we came through, the one leading outside, I remember sometimes the servants would come through that way instead of the door that leads from inside the castle. I was never allowed to go through it, and there would be this gentle breeze and warmth coming through. The only time I ever got to be outside was on the balcony overlooking the ocean. The updrafts of the salty sea breeze were nice and even comforting, do not get me wrong. But the warmer gusts that would blow through whenever that door would open, I began to long for it. It was as if the servants or someone else knew and were taunting me with it. The more I hear, the less I like his family. I can't understand what motivates someone to lock their child away. I honestly couldn't imagine what you've gone through. I'd say your parents must have had your safety in mind, but it feels a bit much to just hide you away. Geralt nods solemnly and turns back toward the forest view. We hear someone clear their throat behind us. They locked you away to protect you, brother. Geralt freezes up and his eyes widen. You and our ill-fated brother who were sickly and that wretched illness took him. She might be able to turn me straight. Wait, what? I turn to see a tall, muscular, wolven woman standing with her arms crossed, eyes glaring daggers at the back of Geralf's head. Geralf doesn't turn, however. Why, the servants have been wearing masks and walking on eggshells for years for your health, and here you are, out and about and taking unnecessary risks. Ilva. Little sister, what are you doing here? Little sister? She's huge! Is this the sister Geralt mentioned before? How is she not already the great chief? Ilva's gaze shifts slightly to look me in the eyes. I feel my neck and shoulders lock as quickly as our eyes do. You are the finder, are you? Finn. My name is Finn. Finn, huh? Interesting. I was expecting some human runt. But you at least have some meat on those bones. Thanks. Geralt finally turns to face the wolf giant, and Nycia's expression of peace sour into one of annoyance. Ilva looks Geralt in the eyes next. Hello, brother. How lovely it is to see you again. Our dear prince has finally come from his tower. Oh, great. Sibling rivalry. Geralt sneers at the remark Ilva made as she retains a taunting grin. It's not a tower, it's a wing of the castle, and it's practically a prison. Ilva rolls her eyes and checks her claws. She doesn't seem to care about Geralt's response. Oh, begging your pardon, the prince has left his entire wing of the castle. How foolish of me. I'm like 5'8". Wait, how tall is Ilva? How tall is she? I just felt my back crack. That was amazing. But seriously, how tall is Ilva? Oh shit, my headphones unplugged. I'm shorter than both of them! Because I'm only 5'8". Like, Geralt and Ilva, could you two please just donate? Geralt, Ilva, could you please donate some height to me? Oh, begging your pardon. She looks him up and down a bit and speaks up again. You seem to be keeping yourself in shape, at least. One would think someone who had their every need catered to would become sloth-like. I have been training mind and body every day, sister. If my needs are catered to, it is not by my own choice. Oh, woe is me! Geralt is practically growling. Ilva. Ilva cackles and turns to me. Well, since my forlorn brother has failed to do so, allow me to formally introduce myself. She approaches me and spreads her arms wide as if to make a spectacle of showing off her form in its entirety. Greetings, Finder. I am Ilva, General of the Fangs of Skull. What do you mean inches? I don't get the joke. She bows and smiles at me as if nothing I just saw happen. Why does she need to wear boots? She's tall as fuck. Like, I have an idea what the joke is. Oh, okay. She bows and smiles at me as if nothing I just saw happened. I decide to brush it aside as well, since worrying about it too much might make things awkward. I look to Geralt. The Fangs of Skull? I know who Skull is, but what is that? Ilva speaks up instead. The Fangs of Skull are a unit of elite expedition soldiers. We dare to explore lands where no wolf giant has ever gone before, and face creatures and threats the likes of which humans from the realm of man could never imagine. Oh! I get it. That's actually what I was thinking. And by the way, like, probably should not say this on Twitch. I should not say this on Twitch, but it has been swiped, so, Well, she certainly doesn't want for grandeur. You are acquainted with my brother here. Has he not appraised you of his family and their endeavors, the endeavors of our people throughout our world? Geralt told me about this expedition, and I'm not entirely sure I like the idea of it. If it's really hurting other villages like Arkans. I'll ask more about it later. Is Ilva trying to be surface level friendly to me to get under Geralt's skin, or is she actually friendly with people other than him? Regardless, I decide to be friendly and act unaware. I nod and put on a fake smile. Customer service facade, activate! Oh yes, Geralt and I have become fast friends. We've also become friendly with the other two candidates. However, the three of them were ordered to be respectful of my time by your people's elders. This means the opportunity to inform me of anything tangential to what's important hasn't made itself available, as such, I'm afraid I've never heard of your fangs. However, Geralt has gone above and beyond and has informed me of both this great expedition as well as a great many things relevant to my purpose here. But you're a general. That's pretty cool, I guess. Ilva chuckles and pats my shoulder. Surprisingly, she doesn't use much force on me. She definitely knows her own strength and how to control it. She pauses a moment, seeming to think about her next words. You've got a sharp tongue on you, little paw. If this whole Finder thing doesn't work out, feel free to try your hand at the recruitment process. It takes bravery and grit to be one of the Fangs, and I am their leader. You'd do well to remember that, little paw. Although I suppose if you steeled yourself enough to cross the divide, maybe there are things in your world that could make one become brave. Well, that's unexpectedly nice. Ish. Oh, by the way, isn't one of the candidates a haughty wolf? Seriously? She harps in on the least important thing of my entire spiel. One would expect the heir to a family legacy to follow that family's teachings and uphold their values. Brother, tell me you haven't thrown away everything our family stands for. Geralt growls. Oh, come off it, Ilva! You hate our family's traditions more than anyone! Ilva laughs and puts on another taunting grin. Who? Me? The sister who would never be the great chief because she was born a woman? The one who had to work twice as hard to become a general? Just to maintain any semblance of respect or status so she wouldn't be cast aside or married off for wealth? Even if it's only half of the respect and status you'll receive for just being born? No, brother, I don't hate our family's traditions. I hate our people's traditions. Whoa. I don't think it's appropriate for me to say anything, and I look to Geralt, who has a look of guilt and seems to be struggling not to snap. None of those things are my fault. Oh, of course not, brother. Ilva walks past us, turning to look back at her brother. But you had no problem benefiting from them. Ilva looks me in the eye, nods her head, and walks away. Geralt, that was intense. Are you okay? Geralt punches the table next to him, sending the vase and its flowers toppling over. I just barely catch it before it lands. Geralt is now standing at the railing overlooking the trail out of the castle grounds, staring out to the treetops where the birds have been diving into. He looks like he's trying not to cry. Maybe I should have just stayed in my room this morning. I move behind him and hug him. Well, then you wouldn't be able to see this amazing view. And besides, I scoot around him to his side, leaning against him. I rest my head on his shoulder. We can't stop our adventure because of one bad interaction. If we're going to figure out who is to become the great chief and sway your people to sway your people enough to follow that leader into a new future. Geralt's gaze seems to focus and his ears perk. He pauses, then clears his throat. You're right. I need to be able to handle debates, or at least be able to be diplomatic. Some time passes with us sitting in silence, or as much silence as the ambience allows anyway. This view of the forest is like a sea of treetops. You can't even see what's beneath the canopy. One of the castle servants came by a bit ago, and Geralt requested he send some breakfast up to where we are, so we're just waiting on it. I avoid bringing up what Ilva mentioned about their brother. I'm sure he'll tell me in time. I'm about to speak up to break the silence, but Geralt does instead. I was blindfolded, you know. When they came to take me to the place we were going to be sent through to your world, I was blindfolded. Have I told you that? What the hell? That's not normal, and I get the feeling it wasn't done to Bjorn or Arkin, but I don't say anything. I shake my head. No, you haven't. Was it your parents' desire that you be blindfolded, or the elders? I'm not entirely sure. I just remember they came for me and woke me up, then blindfolded me. Geralt laughs. So it turns out I've seen more of your world than I have of my own, which makes me feel sad, I suppose. Geralt, poor guy. I place a hand on his shoulder. Well, nothing's stopping you anymore, right? He looks at me quizzically. You're a candidate, and they can't keep you cooped up inside. It seems I've lit some fire within him as the realization takes over, and he turns toward me suddenly, eyes aglow. Yes, I will no longer be stopped from going wherever my heart desires. I smile back. Within reason, of course. You don't want to barge into people's homes unannounced. Oh, yes, of course. Geralt chuckles nervously, and now I'm worried that the thought never crossed his mind. Was he secretly planning to break into people's houses? Was he secretly going to break into someone's house, grab a new outfit, then travel back to Finn's world, go into the public restroom, steal a urinal, and then go to Finn's school and throw it at Tucker? Was he secretly planning to do that? He's a lizard person, oh shit. Was he secretly planning to throw a urinal at Tucker? He has pants to steal. Oh shit. He's gonna throw urinal at Tucker and then steal his pants. Oh shit. I know it's probably a sore spot for you, but I'm here to talk about any of this. And what Ilva said, whenever you want or need. Girl smiles at this and I smile back. Much appreciated, Finn. I trust that you will. We sit at the table and look around at the view. The two of us just sit there for a time, watching the birds and listening to the rustling of the leaves. For a moment, a strong breeze hits the canopy below, and Geralf and I watch as it parts a bit, revealing the lush forest beneath the trees. Chapter 9, Caravan. I caught myself! I caught myself this time! Geralf and I were waiting for breakfast to arrive, and it just did. The two servants arrive wearing face coverings, which Geralf disapproves of. I am not the same sickly child you were all walking on eggshells around. I am not under health watch any longer, and ask that you please respect that I wish to be treated as any other person living here. They hesitate, but both remove their face covers. One of the servants begins laying out the food on the table, and the others collect any lids that were on the trays and other such things from the first servant. I look over everything on the table in front of us as the servants who brought the food to us lifts off the items one by one. Beef sausages, fried eggs, laver cakes, which I've never heard of. Wait, laver cakes? Laver cakes? Back bacon, fried mushrooms, and cherry tomatoes. Sitting on a dish of shaved ice are several clam-esque things. I give them a quizzical look as the servants walk off. I know he mentioned them, but I think I missed it. Those are cockles! Those are cockles. They are absolutely delicious. Cockles? They look like clams. I don't think I've ever seen one before. They're resting open on the ice, presumably to keep them cold. Yes, I typically get these steamed and eat them from the shell, but having them raw like this is one of my favorite foods. I am curious, but I opt to start with the food on my plate first. I look at the laver cake. This looks interesting. Geralf looks at my fork, poking the laver cake, and he chuckles. I did not like laver cakes when I was younger. They are a bit briny and definitely not what a growing wolf boy wants to eat. Oh? I suppose I might not need the height requirement to enjoy them. Might not meet the height requirement to enjoy them. Geralf laughs heartily. Well, I'm only an inch or so taller than you. Give one a try. You might enjoy it. You said it would be briny? I actually enjoy seafood. Actually, really enjoy seafood, so I'll go for it. Can't be any worse than a liverwurst sandwich on onion rye bread. I am not familiar with that. Is it really bad? I think back to the time I tried it. My mom made one for herself while I was visiting, and I was hungry, so I asked her if I could make one as well. She, of course, said yes. I wish I hadn't. Never again. Geralf smiles at me and shakes his head. Well then, I shall be sure to never try such a sandwich. I smirk and begin to eat some of the laver cake. It's delicious! Where has this been all my life? Geralf gives me a smile and I can see his tail wagging a bit behind him. Apparently, waiting for you here. I nod and eat some more of the laver cake. Resting underneath it are what I assume are the back bacon the servant mentioned. They look like Canadian bacon, just a bit thicker. Those are rashers, the bacon under the laver cake, I mean. They are popular around here, though I think I prefer the stripped bacon I tried at that diner you and I went to. I went there for breakfast the day you and I met. I very much prefer the fatty pieces. I agree. I like a nice, juicy, and fatty piece of bacon. Good night, Amethyst. I'll probably regret it later in life, but that's a problem for future Finn. Geralf laughs again and picks up a cockle. He sucks the morsel out of the shell and places it down on a clean plate in front of him. The cockle he ate seemed to be missing half of its shell. Geralf motions for me to try one and I pick one up delicately. I put the right half of the cockle to my lips and suck the morsels out of it. And it's sublime! A little salty, sort of buttery, but only a little briny. I can see why this is one of his favorite foods. It's really good. Not overpowering. Definitely easy to just snack on. Yes, you understand now. Oh, what's... The cockle I had seemed to have dropped something that was stuck inside. The left half of the shell had another half of a cockle shell stacked inside it next to the morsel. I hold it up for Geralf to see. I found the other half of your shell! Oh, yes, here, hold out your hand. I want to show you something. I do so, holding the half of a cockle shell out in my palm as Geralf comes around the table and stands behind me looking over my shoulder. Geralf reaches over with the half of his shell he had plucked from the morsel from moments ago and places it in my palm. The cockle shells have what seem to be small fang-like protrusions from the base, where it would hinge open or shut. Geralf delicately places them together and pushes the cockle shut in my hand. There, both halves are whole again! I feel a tingle in my brain as his gentle voice meets my ears. I turn my head to look at him, and he looks at the cockle shell warmly, his eyes slowly moving to meet my gaze, and I feel so much heat in my cheeks. It fits perfectly. I guess it was meant to be. Have you ever seen a cockle shell whole or closed before, Finn? No, I can't say I have. Why? Geralf turns the shell onto its side and motions for me to look while still watching me to gauge my reaction. I do, and see the clear heart shape the closed shell makes. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. I don't notice Geralf's head turn in my peripheral. Yes, it is. I feel a wave of something electric wash over my body as my arms and neck and head and shoulders feel a strong frisson. There's some catharsis if I've ever felt it. Geralf is definitely into me too. He's flirting back. Hard. Thanks, Geralf, for showing me this. I'll always remember it. It was nothing, of course. I smile and the sly wolf giant returns to his seat and continues his meal. When he pulls away from me, the air touching my back is noticeably colder. I turn to Geralf, both of us full from the delicious breakfast. So, Geralf? Yes, Finn? Did you decide to eat alone because you wanted to spend time with me, or because you didn't want to spend time with your parents? Geralf seems to shift in his seat a bit and gives me an uncomfortable look. I am not talking about this right now, if that is alright. Of course. Sorry, I didn't... Don't, Finn, you are right to ask. You're concerned about me, I know. It's not that I don't want to talk to you about it. They're coming behind you now, on the far side of the terrace. I barely have time to register that his acrolate has dropped before he's warning me about his parents. Acrolect. I turn in my seat to more easily face them as they approach. Geralf's mother has silver fur with longer fur around the sides of her head tied into a ponytail with light blue eyes. She is Geralf's height and she carries herself with a posh presence. His father has wispy white fur that is a bit longer atop his head, and his muzzled fur drapes over his mouth a bit like a mustache. His eyes are deep azure blue. How should I introduce myself? Just allow me to handle it. You're above them. What? Does he think that little of them? After what I've heard, I suppose I can understand. I nod. Well, hello! It is so lovely to see you out of your wings, sweetie. Oh, and who is this? You have brought a friend with you. Geralf said he handled this, but he doesn't seem to be able to speak. It is quite a pleasure to meet you, dear. My name is Eske. I'm Geralf's mother. This is my husband, Gunnulf. Fair day, no? The man, Geralf's father, holds out his hand for me to shake. I do so hesitantly. Mother, father, I presume Ilva sent you to us? My friend Finn and I would prefer not to be bothered. We only have so much time before we must depart for the trial. Ah, yes, the trial is today. I am certain you will do so spectacularly. Please do look out for our boy. Finn, was it? He was quite sickly up until recently, and... Geralf slams his fists down on the table again. Quit the act! My heart skips and I see Geralf's face is suddenly full of rage. His parents seem to be cautious now, both having taken a step back and his father holding his mother back behind him. Geralf, please, do not raise your voice so. Your vocal cords are perfectly fine. Stop talking to me like I'm some pathetic whelp who can't handle the strain of basic conversation. gods, you're both so unbearable. I haven't been sick since I was 10, and yet you both insisted on keeping me locked away, and I was forced to watch the world go on without me. You didn't care enough to come see me. You never spent any time finding out what I was interested in, what I liked to eat, and how well I could fence. So don't come back here with the concerned parent act, because nobody's buying it. Geralt, sweetie, that's not true. You have to understand. Geralt slams on the table again. This time his voice has a guttural growl to it. I don't want to hear it! Please, just leave the two of us alone. I'm left speechless as Geralt's parents saunter away. After a moment, SK looks back and says one more thing. We have only ever wanted to see you live a long life, sweetie. I hope you can forgive us. With that, she turns and joins her husband. I turn to Geralt, who has tears in his eyes and his fists clenched on the table. Can I even say anything to help? His parents didn't seem like the monsters he made them out to be. I can understand the resentment he feels toward them skewing his perception, but his reaction just now? Something more is happening, and I don't know if I have enough information to piece it together. I opt to just rise from my seat and join Geralt on the other side of the table. I approach him from behind, as he did to me just a little while earlier, and put my arms around his waist. Pressing my chest and waist against his back, I lean my head down to his shoulder. His breathing is erratic, and he's sobbing. I'm not even sure he realizes I'm hugging him. But then he lifts his arms from the table, and then he's raising them above mine, and he's turning in my embrace. I loosen my hold a bit to let him adjust. His eyes are wet with tears, and he's desperately clinging to me, his muscle buried in between my neck and shoulder. His arms are holding both the small of my back and my upper back. Finn, we need to pass the trial. His voice is heavy with sadness, and that, combined with the sniffles, is almost too much for me to bear. I used to dream every night that things would be better, that I'd leave that place and never return. And every morning, I'd wake up to the same smells and the same sounds and the same dusty old books. I can't return there, I just can't. Nobody mentioned him returning anywhere. Is he worried that they'll send him back into his ward if he isn't a candidate anymore? Geralt, it's okay. It's going to be okay. But what if it isn't? What if it never is? And I just keep waking back up in that lonely room? This punches a hole in my heart. He wasn't kidding when he said he understood what I meant. Geralt, even if everything ends up the same at the end of today, or the start of tomorrow, you're going to wake up tomorrow. You're going to choose to hope that things will be better. You're making the decisions, and you're taking the steps for yourself from now on, remember? And I'll be right there with you for as long as I can be. Geralt's sobs have slowed and his breathing has mellowed. Finn, thank you. I smile and pull back a bit. That's what I'm here for, right? He smirks and I wipe a tear from his cheek. Hey Finn, yes? Is it alright if I move closer? It's a bit chill. I don't let him finish his sentence as I wrap my arms around him and pull him into the tightest embrace I've ever pulled someone on into. I hold his body close and I hope he feels safe. Oh, that's sad. We'll have to take a carriage ride to the trial soon. Yeah, but I don't want to let go of you. Yeah, me either. Geralt chuckles and I feel his muzzle nuzzle my neck. His muzzle nuzzle. Blah. There will be plenty of time for this later, I suppose. Can I hold you to that? You're so warm, my fellow spoon. Geralt laughs heartily and steps back. Our eyes meet. I'm reminded of cockles and sappy heart shapes for a moment, but I shake it off. Of course you can. Us spoons are meant to be stacked together, after all. After you, fellow spoon. Welp, let's go then. The two of us leave the plates and silverware behind and head off to find our ride to the trial. Geralt and I are riding together in a horse-drawn carriage. We've been riding for about 5 minutes on our way to the trial. We're only just getting through the castle gates to the road leading out toward the trial grounds. Geralt leans his head on my shoulder, and I lean my head onto his head. He hums once, gently. Is this normal? I've only known him for a few days, but it just feels right. The feeling of butterflies in my stomach hasn't really left me, and when I think about him, I feel what I can only describe as nostalgia. I haven't quite figured it out, and I don't know if I want to. I like it. Geralt nuzzles his head against my shoulder. Comfy? He chuckles. Yes, very much so. I smile. Me too. Geralt, do you know anything about the trial? A little, I think. I overheard someone mention something the day before I went to your world. You will face 3 challenges, and while 2 of them are not known to me, I know what that one of them is. His voice trails off, but then he chuckles again. Geralt? Finn, I was going to ask you if you have ever been in a fight. But I remembered when we met, and now I feel silly for wondering. Your senses are good, and you move fast. The trial will have a combat challenge. I don't know the specifics, but I do know that a couple of the elders can use magics to summon spectral creatures to do their bidding. Oh, what? Summoning? Yes, summoning. He holds his hand out in front of him, and I look at it. Suddenly, in a flash of light, a majestic object with a golden glint appears in Geralt's hand. It's a rapier. It looks almost see-through, but still seems to have a very ornate handle, guard, and the blade is longer than I expected a rapier's blade to be. Whoa! You can do that? Sure I can. If you have some aptitude for magic, we can teach you to as well. If you want to, of course. Wait, what's the catch? There must be some cost or something, right? Geralt laughs and lets go of the rapier, snapping his fingers. Instead of falling to the floor of the carriage, the rapier disappears. There isn't a catch, I promise. We can cast most spells here in this world without any resources. In your world, we need to use our own natural reserve of magic. But most of us have enough to be able to defend ourselves if necessary. I see. It sounds like something I'd need to take time to learn. If we end up needing to fight after the trial, I wouldn't want to be a sitting duck. Geralt nods. After a moment, I feel the hand which had summoned the rapier lightly caressing my arm. I gasp and turn toward my companion. I want to kiss him, but I'm not really sure how. If I try first, I'll probably just make a fool of myself. I haven't really taken the time to consider the logistics of such things. What role do I think Finn is? Based on what little I know about Finn, DPS. The moment passes anyway as he leans back onto my shoulder, resting his head against me once again. Geralt is humming softly, and I just take the remaining time to relax. Geralt and I arrive at a small clearing and disembark from the carriages. We make our way out to what seems to be a meeting place, with many wolf giants gathering below in seats of stone embedded into the grass. Oh my god! Geralt looks down toward the center of the area below and notices a cloaked wolf giant who is looking up at him. Finn, would you mind waiting here? I need to go speak to my uncle. Oh, I don't mind. I'll just be here. Geralt smiles and nods toward me. He walks away, his tail swishing and brushing against my hand as he passes me. I smile and watch him as he goes. Then I hear someone clear their throat next to me and I jump back. Whoa, don't be so jumpy. It's just me. Don't see about people like that! I can feel my heart racing, but after a moment it calms down. I look up to Ilva and step back, a bit uneasy at having her near me without Geralt. Can I help you? Please, don't let my brother's opinion of me taint any good will you and I might have. Despite what it might seem like, I care about Geralt very much. Fair, so you wanted to speak to me? Yes, I know by now you've met our parents, and I also know you're a lot closer to Geralt than either of them realize, or even care to know. Her voice is a bit condescending, but I don't really care. You smell of him. It's kind of cute, really. My brother's first, well, real fling. He had a tryst with one of the servants when they were both newly come of age, but when our parents found out, let me guess, suddenly the servant wasn't working for your family anymore? Eva closes her eyes and lowers her head. It took everything I had to ensure he got out of the castle alive. My parents can be a bit extreme. What? She knows about how crazy her parents are, but she scolded Geralt for benefiting from his privilege while he was locked away? I'm fed up. Did you know your parents blindfolded Geralt before he was sent to start his candidacy? What? He wasn't allowed to see anything outside the walls of his room, and hadn't seen much of the castle until just about an hour before he saw us this morning. Ilva looks like she wants to respond, but I don't let her. Geralt's so ripped apart from being cooped up away in his living space and going stir-crazy over doing the same old shit every day, that he almost had a breakdown and pleaded with me to succeed today. You tore into him for being handed a seat of power because you had to work for yours. Meanwhile, he's just doing this because he's terrified to be locked away again if we fail. You seriously have the gall to tell me you care about him? Ilva is silent for a moment, and then she sighs. You're right. I have all of this resentment for him, but he really didn't have any choice in the matter. The three of us used to be so close. They were my world, you know. They? Oh, the ill-fated brother and Geralt. Finn, I'm sorry. I know I've been a bit hostile. Gods, Torgeir would be so ashamed of me. Her voice is cracking, but she clears her throat and steels herself. I'll apologize to Geralt later. Please just look out for him. In spite of it all, I do want him to succeed. I move to console her, but it's to no avail. Ilva walks away before I can, and I see her stop near where she was standing before. After a few moments, her parents join her and look excited. I turn back toward the place where Geralt wandered off to. I can see him standing nearby, arms crossed. Turning to look back at Ilva, she gives me a smirk and nods at me while crossing her arms. I move to join Geralt, who greets me with a nod. I smile at him. He doesn't realize just how much he and Ilva are alike. Ilva was talking to you? Did she say anything insulting? No, Geralt, you should talk to her after the trial. I know that suggestion sounds ridiculous, but I wouldn't make it lightly. Geralt looks at me incredulously, but then closes his eyes and nods. Yes, I trust your judgment. If the opportunity arises, I will speak to her. Arkin walks up to us with a smile and a wave. There's no sign of Bjorn anywhere, though. Seems Bjorn is the last to arrive. Bjorn's home is about the same distance from here as my home. Assuming he left at the same time as me, he should be here shortly. Oh, my family just arrived! Sure enough, as soon as Arkin says as much as I hear someone shouting for him. Arkin! Rolf! There's a small, adorable wolf giant child happily bouncing out of a carriage. He runs toward us only to be stopped by another wolf giant. Hrolf enters this sad, Hrolfless scene of unspecified sibling rivalry, and Hrolfly lightens the mood with his Hrolfness. Yes! Arkin! We're cheering for you! The older wolf giant whispers something to the boy, who seems to be surprised to hear whatever was said and then nods. Eric and I have to go get good seats early. See you later! Hrolf is my favorite. I see who I assume is Eric and an older wolf giant woman pulling the boy away as he waves and cheers for us all the while. Arkin is laughing and Geralt seems to be struggling to hide a smirk. You have quite the family there, Arkin. I'm sure with their support we will all pull through. Thanks. Yeah, they're pretty great. I'll introduce you properly after this. Is that your family over there? We turn to see the trio of wolf giants behind us, now engaged in a discussion and paying us no mind. Yes, it is, though I promise you, we will find nothing of value from their support. They are merely here to save face. Well, we'll just have to make do on our own then. Geralt smirks at me and nods, crossing his arms and turning away from his family. We wait for about 5 more minutes until finally Bjorn arrives. Sorry, I know I'm late. My parents were given notice of the carriage's arrival, but relayed the wrong time to me and my brother. Thankfully, we were able to cut time out of the journey by cutting through the forest. I smile up at the gentle giant. It's alright, Bjorn, we haven't been called yet or anything. Yeah, it's okay, we weren't waiting for too long anyway. I agree, it was not over long at all, friend. Bjorn smiles at the three of us, his worried expression washes away. I see. Oh! Another wolf giant comes up behind Bjorn. He's taller than our gentle giant and is built like a truck. Well now, if it isn't the pretty boy. The new wolf giant seems to be addressing Geralt, who is rolling his eyes in size. Bjorn, please sick your beast of a brother upon someone else. Do you know this guy, Geralt? Hrolf, a great knight, everyone. Yes! The wolf giant turns his gaze downward to meet mine. Oh, what do we have here? How's it going, Bright Eyes? He's handsome, but like, really? Not on your life, bud. He makes a wounded face and holds his hand over his chest. Oh, what a scathing denial. You wound me. He laughs as he backs away more and winks at me. Then he turns to walk toward who I assume are Bjorn's parents. Is he always like that? Unfortunately, yes. I don't know, he seemed cool. Oh, well, then maybe we'll put him upon you later on during the feast. There's going to be a feast? Then all at once, everyone's heads turn toward the center of the field below as a horn is blown. 6 robed wolf giants stand in a row near the back, with the largest of them putting the horn back at his side. Other wolf giants seem to be filing into the seats around the field, a half circle with seats that get lower and lower as they move in. and a square stage of sorts at the lowest point. It almost forms a sort of amphitheater, and I can see the appeal. With enough people having arrived, it seems to be a fitting time for us to begin the trial. The rather large gathering of wolf giants sitting below turn to face us as my friends begin to walk ahead of me. I'm a bit hesitant, but I think I can do this. Geralt turns back to me and holds out his hand for me to take, to walk with him. Another world. A new adventure. No more of the same old cycle, aside from keeping my GPA up, that is. Armed with the knowledge of at least one of the trials that await me, I walk with Arkin, Bjorn, and Geralt toward the Six Elders below. And that is everything in Wayfinder so far. Alright then, you know what time it is. It is time for the poll! To YouTube! I think. Yeah, YouTube. Woo! YouTube! Woohoo! Yeah! Yeah! Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeah! Woohoo! To the channel. Community. Alright. We finished everything in so far. We play next. Okay. Alright, we're going to do a text poll. Alright. Let's do this. Alright, so I'm going to add one option to the top here real quick. Monster hunting for love. Actually, how do I spell that one? Alright. Monster hunting for love. Journal. Alright, I put journal on there. Journal is on the poll. What's another one? La 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 la.
Thanks, Theta.
No problem, Drax. Okay, what's another VN? Stardew Valley I'm not going to put on here because like my computer cannot handle live streaming Stardew Valley. Password. I can fucking spell. Ah. Wait, rain check? Rain check. Oh? Is this the one you were talking about? Rain check? Alright, well, I'll put that one on there. And now a fifth. What is a fifth one? Actually, you know what? I'm going to add another one. And I know password. We already have password on there. And honestly, I know someone told me not to play this one. I think it was Raj. Yeah, I believe he told me not to play this one. I'm still going to put it on here because... Oh, hang on. And that's going to be on the next poll. I'm going to put this one on here. I know someone told me not to play it on here for a multitude of reasons. The largest one being length, but also because it's kind of horny at times. But this game truly does hold a special place in my heart. Extracurricular activities. It holds a special place in my heart. Legitimately. Like, without this game, I would not be here today. Now go vote! Anyways. Yeah, extracurricular activities holds a special place in my heart. Anyways, stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.